episode of Quit Stalling is brought to you by Jinx.com. To get 10% off of your entire shopping cart, use the promo code QuitStalling_366 at checkout. If you like that Disney-esque Hearthstone cinematic you saw at Gamescom, get a shirt. If you want to show your best friend that you'll gladly support their supersonic, acrobatic, rocket-powered battle car soccer addiction, head on over to Jinx.com and shop from a wide variety of gamer and geek swag. And while you're there, get 10% off by using the promo code QuitStalling_366. Alright, welcome everyone to this very special episode of the Quit Stalling podcast. I am Herald Silvestre. I am your host, and I will be your host for the foreseeable future of this show. I'd like to welcome you guys to the show that takes a pocket full of pills and gives it to you as needed. This is the show that lets us abduct highly talented individuals like our guest for today. And, we interview them on the internet. But before I show you our special guest for today, with me, as he has been for the past month or so, making his 7th consecutive appearance, it's Juancho Saldana. How you doing, Juancho?
What's up? Your very not so special co-host, because I'm here every week.
Oh, come on. You're super
but
special,
yeah,
man.
what's up?
You're super special.
Not as special as the guy we have on right now. I am hyped to talk about him.
I'm so pumped. The man we're talking about, of course, is that guy from Pockets Fulla Pillz.
That guy.
Fred Corder. How you doing, Fred?
Hey, guys. Hey, doing good.
Woo!
You guys hear me all right? We're all
Yeah.
good? You see me? You hear me?
great.
All right, coming live.
You sound
Looking
All
good,
right,
man.
guys.
All right,
Oh,
so
Too kind.
all right. Before I ask you guys how you're doing, which is something I normally do at the start of every show, I want to give a shout out to our chat room right now. On Facebook, we got Julius Bautista, Jay Sanchez, Diego Z. Hope you guys are enjoying. We got a couple more guys over on YouTube and Twitch. If you guys want shout outs, since we can't really see your names until you type in the chat, let us know. Type in the chat, and we'll give you guys shout outs as you deserve. All right, so as I'm searching and scrambling for the music that I normally play in the background, I want to ask Juancho first. Juancho, man, what have you been up to since our last show?
I have been sick. That's
What?
what I've been up to.
What?
Oh, a cough just went. Yeah. So I'm up to just until yesterday, until last night, I couldn't talk. I could barely talk.
What?
I'd have sore throat, everything. I was this close to telling you I couldn't do the show today.
Oh,
But
wow.
And then it'd just be you two, and I'd miss out, But thankfully, I got better last night, and I'm here now. So
Dude, that's awesome.
I
Thank God
am
you
thankful.
got better.
Yeah, me too. I'm so thankful I got better.
What kind of
I do
meds are
not
you
want to
on?
miss my very first show where we're with basically a celebrity.
No.
I know. I don't want to miss this,
Oh my God.
I mean, we're the geek cast, and how this is the epitome of being a geek. Someone who
Exactly.
actually writes the material,
I
Exactly.
appreciate that.
We're here just staring at the face of content creation, and I'm so psyched.
Creates things we geek about.
Yes. Yes, and I was so happy. So, okay, I'm gonna get to that later on, but I do want to ask very special guest Fred Corder. How you doing, man?
Doing good, guys. I'm happy to be on here. This is my second time on Quit Stalling. You guys interviewed me last year for Asian Pop.
Yeah, we had you on a quick 2-minute video, and I thought 2 minutes isn't enough with this guy. We need like 2 hours.
Let's give him the entire show.
We'll give him the entire
Appreciate
show.
that.
Oh man. So what have you been up to, Fred?
I'm getting ready for Baltimore Comic-Con. So we got the whole crew got their visas. Everyone's headed for the U.S. So it's a big deal. It was kind of like an internal big deal that the U.S. government looked at everything we were doing, and they were like, you know what? I think you guys are a real company. You all get visas. So it was like it's like there's no award, but I kind of feel like, yeah, we're official. It's like, well, why do you think that? Well, U.S. Embassy said so. So we're all headed. We're all headed to Baltimore Comic-Con, yeah. And then after that, we're gonna have some meetings up in New York Comic-Con.
Ooh, so Oh, okay. Is it anything
I
you can
feel you, though.
divulge?
I feel you. You know, it's like getting visas from the U.S. Embassy here in the Philippines is such a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact
yeah.
that your whole company got them, you know, that means you're legit.
Yeah. And, like I didn't show my face. Like it was all just the artists and the people involved, the administrators. So they presented the case strictly based off the material, not my face or anything as far as me being an American. So
Yeah.
it was good to see the company stand on its own 2 feet and impress the whole government.
That's sick, dude. And you know, I love how you bring up, you know, the fact that, you know, you are American, and I'm assuming you have full citizenship.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that would have swayed them some way, and you wanted to get these completely through merit, is what you're saying.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
is
we could
so
have,
cool.
PFP could have gone back years ago, you know, with just me bringing the content back just as an American and leaving everyone behind. But it's important that I brought, you know, the whole Filipino team, because that's really become the heart and the soul of the actual creators of Pockets Fulla Pillz.
Oh man, that's so awesome. So you guys are heading to Baltimore Comic-Con. What do you guys normally do during the cons, if I may ask, before we get into the nitty-gritty?
You mean before the cons or during the cons?
Actually both. Like, what do you guys do to prep first?
Well, we really just kind of meet like early morning. I just tell everybody, look, you got to be there super early. But this is different because we're all going to be staying in the same place. So probably everyone will all go out to dinner before, get everyone ready. We wake up early, grab some coffee, and just go in. And one of the things about being at the con is I pride ourselves on trying to be one of the first people there and the first people set up. So it just gives us time to kind of like organize our setup and our presentation and everything.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, and I'll ask you actually, you know what, that's more appropriate for later on. I'll ask you what you normally do during the cons.
Yeah, because, you know, you haven't gone to what you've been up to.
Oh,
Harold, so what
Juancho,
have you been
man.
up to?
You're so sweet. I didn't think you cared. So I
Same joke. 7 weeks now. Same joke.
1 year, 7 months, same joke. So I haven't been up to much aside from just making sure that the thing I've been teasing on the show for the past 2 months is gonna go smoothly when we actually do it. I know it's super vague, but you guys are gonna see some new bling on the Quitstalling shows, and hopefully the website if we can get that up and going. So super psyched. I got family over from Thailand. My parents, who again Filipino citizens, but my dad works there. You know, they're over, and it's been pretty crazy. Just making sure they're all right, making sure I'm being a good son, which I haven't been. So just trying to get that in order. And of course, I've been trying to play as much Overwatch as I can in my downtime.
Yeah, new season, man. Got a place.
New season. All right. Enough about me, Juancho. I do not have a soundbite for this next segment, so I'm going to play the soundbite we always play at this part. So here we go.
Yes, I see. Good news, everyone!
All right, so Fred, this is the part of the show where we ask you as many questions as we can without boring you.
I'm here.
we got you on the show already, so the hardest part is over.
Yeah.
Keeping you on the show.
Keeping you on the show is gonna be a whole nother task. So I do want to give a quick shout out to Diego again in the chat. He's saying hey. Diego was our cameraman for when I did my little bit with you over at Asia Pop the first time around.
Tell him I said what's up. What's up, Diego? How you doing?
Hey guys, he can actually hear you right now as I'm playing the video from last year. I don't know. I think I was a little thinner back then. You look exactly the same.
You look exactly the same.
Yeah, you look the same.
Both,
Who, me?
Both of you.
Yeah,
Who looks the same?
Yeah,
I got fat.
Both of you do.
You look exactly the same.
You did not get fat. Come on.
Yeah, life's been good to me.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so let's get to it, man. Juancho, why don't you start over on the questions?
Sure. So, well, basically, first question always has to be, how did PFP start?
Indeed.
How did Pocket Fulla Pillz start?
Yeah, like Pockets Full of Pills, just in general, it's a weird thing to talk about because it's so many things in my mind. But the most recent iteration of Pockets Full of Pills is we do comic books. So we're a comic book company. But to talk about how PFP started, you have to leave that paradigm and go deeper. We started out as just me and my cousin just doing straight images for people. Like me and my cousin always wanted to do comic books. So we were in grad school, and I'm like, yo, we can do comic books. Like, you draw, I write. Like, it's, we can just do it in our spare time. So we started doing that, and literally within about 3 months of us working together, he was like, you know what, man? Like, I don't have time for this. And he quit on me. So then I'm talking to one of my Phil-Am friends back in Maryland, and I'm like, yo, my cousin quit on me, blah, blah, blah. Just complaining about it while playing PlayStation. And he was like, how much you paying him? And I told him, and he was like, for that price, my cousin could do it way better. And I was like, where's your cousin? And he's like, in the Philippines. And I was like, why is he in the Philippines? He's like, because I'm a Filipino, you idiot. And I was like, oh, thought you were El South. I thought you were from Honduras. And I was like, man, the school system has failed you. So I ended up hiring my boy's cousin, and he had never even met his cousin in person. So I ended up hiring this mystery cousin, who ends up being Jerk, our head artist now. And then I ended up hiring more and more people that were Jerk referred or came to us via us just sort of working on the ground. And then we went from just doing that to having the capacity to do animation. And then before I knew it, we're doing short animated clips. We're doing graphics for a bunch of like big names. So we did work for a rapper named Gucci Man. We did work for a rapper named Waka Flocka Flame. We did a little bit of work for a rapper named Drake. Yeah, we did a lot with Waka. So,
Drake,
we were
Drake
working with a lot.
The Drake?
Yeah, Drake. Yeah, I was in it's a video called Round of Applause. So if you look at the MTV video of Round of Applause, I'm in that video, which is really weird. I think I have the screenshot. Yeah, if you look, a Round of Applause, or you can look in the screenshots, an easier dive on the Facebook page, on the Pockets Full of Pillz Facebook page. I think the profile pic, if you start going through them, you can find me and Drake. Not me and Drake, me and Waka on the set. Because Waka brought me in. I work with Waka.
I'm looking for it right now, and ad is playing. But keep going, man. Keep going. So this is awesome. Getting to know a lot more about you.
Yeah. So it got to the point where I'm working with all these people, and I was like, I need to come to the Philippines. So I started coming back and forth. This is taking place over about 6 years at this point. So for about that first 3 years, I'm coming back and forth, and I'm doing so a lot more than somebody doing a hobby. So I really felt like this was really my calling. So at a certain point, I was like, man, I should buy a place here. Like, I'm traveling here so often, I might be able to save money if I just bought a house. So, yeah. So eventually, I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to move. So I got things in order. I finished school. I do my my other profession, which is psychology, remotely. So I was like, you know what, I can move to the Philippines. And then that's when I decided to stop doing work for hire, because my artists were getting to the point where their work wasn't being appreciated, because we were a behind the scene kind of artist. We would do artwork for people, and then they would take that artwork to their A&Rs and their directors of their music labels and say, this is what I want my music video to look like. This is what I want my album cover to look like. This is the concept of this next project. So we were concept artists, and our art wasn't part of the actual contract.
Yeah.
So our work for these artists never saw the light of day beyond the artist being like, oh, this is a good way of solidifying my vision to take to the directors. So it got to the point where we started doing projects that ended up becoming bigger projects, but we had no claim to them. And I felt like I was cheating my artists. So I was like, man, if these musical talents are seeing that we have something to offer, then why don't I see that we have something to offer? So I took a hard look at what we were doing, and coming back and forth to the Philippines and looking at my artists like in the face, being in the same room with them. I didn't see it as a freelance thing anymore. Yeah. I saw it as like, I'm letting these guys down. These guys have talent that's clearly bigger than what I initially started doing. And then I said, what do I have? So I started digging through all my stuff, and I actually had a storyline, which is the PFP storyline now. And I was like, you know what, this is the story that I kind of started this thing with my cousin, before I started chasing celebrities and stuff. This is really what I wanted to get done. But I always thought later. But I was like, no, I can do it now. And these guys are ready. So we started creating the actual Pockets Full of Pillz story. And so our comic book line is called Pockets Full of Pillz. And it's like a revolving universe, 34 volumes. And we started releasing that about 2 years ago now. And we've been hitting the cons hard.
And I'm sure the time's been flying, man. Like 2 years must have felt like
that. Oh yeah, it feels like nothing. So we've got 7 books released, and then we've got another about like 9 that are just about done. So we've been pacing ourselves. We've been working like crazy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play a little slideshow as we're talking. So one of the more iconic characters, the suit / the machine. Did I say that right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Oh man. Real quick, Francis in the chat is saying, oh, actually, he commented on the video because he's on his way home. He's saying, would you know if it's hot inside the suit / the machine costume? Have you ever put it on?
What do you mean? What costume?
Oh,
you mean the suit / the machine?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's him.
Yep.
That's him.
Okay.
We don't do cosplay. That's him.
Dude, I love that guy, by the way. I love him, by the way. Every time I see him in the con, he's got a quip. He's so quick on his feet. It's so hilarious.
Suit / the machine. It's a suit / the machine.
Dude.
Yeah. You know what? I challenge. This is what I challenge. I challenge some cosplayers to cosplay as a suit / the machine and step to the real deal.
Oh man, that is a major league challenge, by the way. Cause
yes.
Dude, okay, so I want to ask about the characters real quick. So you mentioned you have how many titles right now? How many volumes?
We have 8. We have 7 released. And it's a 34 volume series. So we release a new one every like 2 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're due to drop a new one for. Oh, this is an announcement. I haven't told anybody this.
Ooh,
we
quit
plan
selling exclusive.
First.
Quit selling exclusive. I'm gonna edit this out. I'm gonna edit this out and throw graphics.
So that we're gonna be releasing volume 5.1 completely out of order because it's such a different story that ties in. It's like in such a weird way that we're releasing volume 5.1, which is going to be the story of Nukes, the one-eyed skater. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome, dude. Okay.
So we've been teasing that. So that's going to be at November Comic-Con.
Oh
November Comic-Con at Buy a Nihon Center. Yeah, Buy a Nihon Center, November Comic-Con.
Wow. And so this is the first time anyone's ever hearing about this.
Yeah, and it's a completely new artist, and he wants me to not mention who he is until like it's released. So it's a completely new artist. Mystery artist. Yeah, mystery artist.
That is so
cool.
It's
gonna be.
Man,
but he's local. He's local. He's from the Metro Manila area.
Oh man, I can't believe we got an exclusive. Juancho, we're about 15 minutes in and we already got an exclusive, man. I think we hit our quota. We're good. Thank you for joining us.
He's like, all right, wrap it up. Wrap it up. All right, okay. You gonna eat these Danishes? All right, let's go.
Fred, feel free to eat all the catered food that we've laid out for you.
Yeah.
Craft services is hard at work.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so sick. That's so awesome. So you're releasing that in November. We're talking about a little bit in the future here, but I want to bring us back to the present. Real quick. So I want to ask, since you're going to Baltimore Comic-Con.
We're all going.
Didn't
you hear me? We all got visas.
Actually, I do have a visa, so.
We got it together. Remember?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Go with the bid.
Definitely. I remember Jerk was like, "Dude, I can't believe you're here with us," and Juancho too, man. Juancho.
Yeah, that's exactly. I remember that.
Oh man. So I want to ask, what are your plans for Baltimore?
We're gonna have the suit / the machine. So what we're gonna do is we're going to do what we did for Asia Pop. So we're gonna be back in the suit / the machine's spa, which is going to be the actual Brother Fax Machine repair shop. So we're going to be there. We're going to be doing some live drawing again from Jerk. Basically going to be drawing some brand new images, some con exclusives. So yeah, it's going to be dope. Yeah, we're going to let the people of Baltimore experience the people of Manila experience for Asia Pop.
Sweet, man. Okay, so we're talking about Jerk doing his live drawing. What is he? For those who weren't at Asia Pop, what does he normally draw when he does the live drawings?
Well, the live drawing is a new thing. We just started that at Asia Pop. We saw some cool artists doing it at HistoryCon, and I was like, Jerk, like this is it. This is your thing now. So he's drawing I don't know if he's happy about that. I'm sure Dirk is watching.
He just nodded. He's like,
or he will watch you watching. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So we're gonna be. I think he'll probably be doing some Sue / Machine drawings. So I think we're gonna try to be doing some technical drawings for Sue / Machine, or he's gonna be doing some live 3.3 drawings. Or that's the last volume of Sue / Machine because we're about to do the last volume.
oh man.
All right.
So big
We
finale.
were talking about the. Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
Nice. All right, sorry, Juancho, go ahead.
But yeah, we were talking about the suit / machine a lot. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to ask you to explain your universe a bit for people who don't know
There we go.
the universe. You
Oh,
know.
there it is.
Yeah, it's the Sue / Machine right there. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you the quick elevator pitch. So
All right.
the story revolves around. I've got some visual aids. So the story revolves around Rashida Johnson. She is where's Rashida Johnson? There we go. All right. Story revolves around Rashida Johnson. She's a Filipino-American neurologist. Her boss asked her to make a neuroenhancing medicine for the U.S. military. She makes it and it works, but her boss wants more out of the deal. So behind her back, they start purifying it on these poor little clone monkeys. Where should have had these things organized. Okay.
Oh.
And that's where we get our test subject series from. Okay.
I mean,
So
let me
that's-
bring up that full screen.
2.1. Yeah. So they start purifying all these poor little clone monkeys, and also I got it on my shirt. And eventually it becomes so strong as a new side effect. It allows the taker to see other dimensions. Now, what it didn't mention is her boss is the CIA. And the dimension they find is a little place called Hell. They don't get religious, they get paranoid. They say, how long before China, Russia, North Korea discovers that hell is real, but more importantly, the devil is pure renewable energy. So they do the only logical thing. They gotta get a team of Americans to break into hell and try to kidnap Satan for American energy dominance.
That is so
But if you're going to be editing contracts with Satan, you want to make sure you find yourself a lawyer that doesn't quite have a soul. Enter the Suit / the Machine, junk cyborg attorney. Best lawyer in the business. He's the CIA's answer to the high cost of cyborgs and the problem of e-waste.
Dude.
So it's like there's no main character. There's no good guy. There's no bad guy. It's sort of it has a amoral feel to it because I don't want as a creator to tell the viewer how they should feel about these events. Mm-hmm. Every event is preceded and portrayed in a way that you can have multiple interpretations of it as to who's right and who's wrong, which is life. Like that's the reason why there's politics and varying religions and breakups where like both groups of friends pick a side. Like there really is no good guy or bad guy, you know? It's just, it's events that happen and then people pick a side.
Yeah. That's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. That's one hell of an elevator pitch.
It sounds interesting.
I would love to ride an elevator with you.
You're saying there's no good guy or bad guy, and yet you also mentioned there's Satan in the devils in your comic. But there's no good guy or bad guy. You actually made it sound like Satan is about to be a victim in this whole thing, you know?
Oh, he's about to get proper raped. Yeah,
I'm gonna censor that in
when this
post.
girl, yeah. When she's on your tail, you know,
Dang, son.
you start feeling bad. You start feeling bad for the entity.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we're talking about the universe and the characters in it. How did it all start? We talked briefly about this on the first video
Right.
that we interviewed in, but for those who haven't heard how it all started, please do let them know.
Yeah, so like I was saying about my grad education, I have a master's in mental health counseling. So I'm, for not having a better term, I'm a shrink. So I'm a therapist, I'm a counselor, and I used to work in the prison system back in DC. And one of the things that really struck me is that there were no definitive good guys or bad guys, even in the prison system. Like each character, it was my job to like talk to these people and they did the intake and talk to them, you know, as far as anger management, things like that. So here I am having these guys. I work with males that had these horrible crimes, but when we worked through, because that was my job, understanding their side of it, to try to lead them to a more productive way of processing information. The way we work through it, part of my job is adopting their mindset. That way I can meet them where they are and walk them to a more legal way of looking at the world. But in doing that, I realized that from their perspective, they were the good guy. They really did see that there was no other way. And when you really do psychology in a truly empathetic, which is the most effective way, manner, you realize that there is no right side. It's just the side that's paying you. So I was leading them not to the right way of doing things, but to the way that was paying me. So when you take this journey in and out of these different people's psyche, you learn all these compelling reasons to do horrible things. And sometimes you're kind of like, you know what? I know the right answer, but I no longer think you're a bad person. I understand where you're coming from, but we still have to go this way to make sure you don't wind up in prison again. So you start adopting this more nihilistic view of the world where it's not who's right or wrong, it's who understands what the other person's perception is.
Dude,
wow, that was deep. I'm processing that right now.
yeah, and it's that's life. And in reading comic books and watching TV shows, I always liked the anti-hero, because the anti-hero, although they're termed anti-hero, they're not really anti-heroes. They're just realistic heroes. They're people that have gray, moralistic, views, which is everybody. I mean, everybody, no matter where you come from or how you were brought up, every now and then there are circumstances that bend your moral compass for compelling reasons.
Yeah.
And the question is, are you a good guy now? Are you a bad guy now? And it's like, it's not that simple. It's just, you're a person doing stuff.
Exactly. People are more complex than right or wrong. And
exactly.
I'm assuming, you were mentioning that's what gravitated you towards the anti-heroes, like they're real
right.
people with real problems that aren't fixed by superpowers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in a lot of cases, you with anti-heroes, getting these powers are actually what magnifies their problems.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it was that Spider-Man thing. Great power, great responsibility.
Yes.
Whatever Uncle Ben keeps saying before he dies.
Oh man. I mean, we've seen it in like four or five movies already. So
it's like, stop dying, Uncle Ben. That's the real problem.
That's the real problem. That's the real problem. Oh man.
He's the villain.
If you didn't leave Peter with such a awkward moral compass.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're mentioning these anti-heroes that you grew up loving. Tell us about the ones that struck you the most, or the ones that have inspired you then and until now.
You mean like anti-heroes anti-heroes, that's a good question. I would say that one of the anti-heroes that stuck with me the most was Dinobot from Beast Wars. I don't know if you ever watched Beast Wars, like a CGI.
Dude,
like
Dinobot was complex as heck.
Oh my god, like Dinobot was real. Like I was watching that and it was kind of like, I don't know how to feel about him. Like, I don't know.
And he was that kind of character that, when he does something bad, you're like, yeah, he's a villain. But then the second he turns around and does something morally good, you're like, what is his deal? Like, is he...
Yeah.
He's playing with my emotions.
He's just a regular guy. That we're watching. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the show, we to talk about it a little bit, he flip-flops from the Decepticons to the Maximals from throughout the show.
Right. Because he was originally a Maximal, I think. And in the end, he was really a Maximal, but anyways, the point is, he was morally complex. He wasn't set by, and I think that's what made him sort of standout character, because he completely defied the convention, which I think made Beast Wars a really cool show. He defied the convention of Maximal or Autobot and Decepticon, which is a very good guy, bad guy construct, which limits Transformers. I mean, Transformers compensates by just making their characters more diverse and cool. But eventually you realize, oh, this is just a good guy, bad guy story, which has no bearing on the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
But they distract you with a new character.
Yeah, or in the movie's cases, Michael Bay's flashy explosions and poor CGI.
or a pretty girl that doesn't belong there.
Or a pretty girl.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
That's what distracts me.
Yeah. A pretty girl that doesn't
you're
belong
like-
there, or a pretty girl that gets bumped off screen, and like.
Yeah.
If we could talk about Transformers real quick, that's one thing that irked me so much was, okay, you got the pretty girl like Megan Fox. She had her differences off screen with the director. And the reasoning for her not being on the following movie was, oh, she just dumped Sam Witwicky, which after all they've been through, right?
Man, you don't know their relationship.
You don't know me.
Man.
You don't know.
I mean, you see them during the whole Transformer War stuff. How about when in everyday life?
That's true.
Maybe they didn't get along.
Witwicky, he seemed difficult. Is he dead? Is Witwicky dead? I just want to know. Like,
yeah, with the
last
reboot,
movie, it seems like he's dead.
With the reboot, it's like they don't mention him at all anymore. Like, okay,
but he's in pictures though. He was in a picture.
That's true.
Like he's
That's
like
true.
the Wiki line. I think when he had those like racist outbursts, they were like, "Man, we just gotta make this guy dead." He's just dead, and the hot girl left him, and we're gonna move on.
Yeah, we gotta fill this in somehow. Yeah, so.
Yeah. We put him in a picture. Put him in a black and white picture.
Oh
Racist.
my god. Yeah, so. Okay, so moving on. Juancho, do you have any questions for Fred?
I actually had a few in mind, but then it's like my mind just got lost when you were mentioning, like, when you went through all that deep stuff about no one's really good or bad and stuff like that. And so wait, just give me a second.
Yeah. Okay.
No worries, dude. No
Give me a
worries.
second.
Let me play the Jeopardy theme song for you while we're doing this.
No pressure.
No pressure. All right,
Actually, I was wondering something a while ago.
go for it.
How many Filipino artists are actually in your company? In the company? Because you're mentioning like, your whole everyone's going. So give everyone a shout out.
I guess I can't. Some of them don't want to be shouted out till their books are released. I'll give a quick. The reason why that's a difficult thing to say is because Pockets Fulla Pillz, it's a collective. So we're not like other companies where like you're beholden to work for us forever. Like it's like a lot of people might come and say, "Look, I want to work with you guys," or I might approach them and say, "Look, I like your work. What does it take to get you to work with us?" And they probably most likely already have some sort of movement going that's private to them. They've got their own art company. And I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna put you on payroll. We need to do this book. Like, look, just a commitment of like 3 volumes for a character, and then you can do whatever you want. But like, give me a few cons where you can be with us, opposed to whatever group you're with." So like, I try to make it so it's loose and free flowing. So although we have some part-time artists, we have some artists that are strictly on payroll. It's still kind of like who's with us. I would say 100% like the people that are like the core members of PFP and that aren't just like filtering through, which is awesome. That's one of the reasons why we have the best talent, because we don't lock them into the company with some sort of crazy contract. But we have with Jack Flores. He's our head artist.
Woo, Jerk.
Okay. Yeah. So his pen name is Jerk. Of course, there's me. We have Agnes Patas. She handles all of our admin stuff. If you see us at a con, you see our setup, you see our products. It's just like she's the one that sources all of our materials. We have the Suit the Machine, whose name is the Suit the Machine.
Oh yeah, that dude is awesome.
We have Alexi. She handles all of our Don't Trust the Kitten and a new thing that we're doing, Bear Can Bear. So it's a little like internal like comic. We're making like a really adult, sick children's book.
Ooh.
So we're doing that, and we should be releasing that by December. That's also another new thing.
Oh!
That's an announcement. Yeah, it's an exclusive. I haven't told anybody this. Yeah. So Don't Trust the Kitten as an actual children's book should be out by December. If we don't make it by December, it'll definitely be out by February. But it's coming like right around the Christmas New Year season.
Oh.
So
man.
Don't Trust
What
the
is that
Kitten,
about?
the children's book.
I'm
Yeah,
curious
basically-
about that.
Tell us what it's about.
Sure, Don't Trust the Kitten is like sort of an offshoot of Pockets Fulla Pillz, so it's not part of our core story, but basically it's
It's in the
just,
same universe.
No, it's just a complete. It's almost like I'm trying to think of like Itchy and Scratchy. No, it's not even like Itchy and Scratchy. It's not even in the same universe. It's not. It's just not. It's just
It's nice.
It just has the same feel. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Disney and like Mickey Mouse and Care Bears. Not Care Bears.
Wow.
What else was going on? Mickey Mouse. No, Mickey Mouse and I can't even tell you. I don't know, man. It's not in the same universe.
But they just feel the same.
So people
Okay.
just have
They have the
people
same
just
feel.
have to watch out for it so they can find out.
Right. All right. I'll give you the premise. The premise is basically these kittens are killing people. You just have to watch the image to find out how the kitten is involved in these heinous murders.
Wow, that's
I thought this was a children's story.
no,
It
it's for
is.
adults. It's in a children's
For
book.
adults. Totally
Oh.
sick. There's no words. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
kittens murdering the hell out of people.
That sounds like you guys remember Happy Tree Friends?
Yeah. You know what? The artist Alexi, she told me about that. She's like, "Oh, you know, Happy Tree Friends." I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And then she hit me to it. I didn't know anything about it at first.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's more realistic than Happy Tree Friends. Like Happy Tree
Okay.
Friends is more like slapstick. They kind of like
Yeah.
curb the violence. This is kind of like, no, I kind of want you to feel uncomfortable.
wow. It kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of that cat that's a Red Lantern. Shoot, I'm blanking
Oh.
on it right now. Help me out, watch it. Help
Oh,
me
do you
out.
see it now? Did you find it? Don't trust the kitten.
Oh no, not yet. Let me go look for it. But okay, so what? Real quick, sorry. When is Don't Trust the Kitten looking to be released?
It should be coming out around the Christmas and New Year season.
Oh wow.
So we're almost done. Our next image, and this is another sneak peek, it's going to be involving the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and how it was really a kitten involved.
What? That is what?
Yeah. Can't trust them.
I did not expect that.
Can't trust those kittens. We're getting historical with it.
Wow.
It's the bane of human existence. Yeah.
Gosh.
I've always been a dog person anyway.
I love cats. I just, you can't trust it just because you love it don't mean you can trust it.
Exactly. Sometimes
Yeah,
those things are just.
Exactly.
Oh man. All right.
Don't-
So a big shout out to Robbie Hilado in the chat and Justin Valiente who just joined us. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Hey guys.
Juancho, you got any more questions for Fred, real quick?
Let's see. We're
Okay.
talking about cons, right? Yeah. So, what do you have any favorite con memories you could share too?
Oh.
Yeah. Let me see. I would have to say my favorite con memory is my first con here in the Philippines, which was Toy Con. I think it was 2010, 2009, and it was in Mega Mall.
Toy-Con, dude.
So that
Toy-Con's
was my
an iconic con
Toy-Con.
locally.
Yeah, it was the truth. So it really was cemented. I sent you some Don't Trust the Kitten stuff on your
nice,
on your
nice.
message. Yeah, there you go.
Well,
But it was basically, I went there and I was just like, because my artists were trying to convince me to do more stuff in the Philippines. They're like, look, our friends like it. Like, we could probably do some stuff here in Southeast Asia. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll check it out. And I was like, whatever. And like one of my visits for one of our larger clients was coming up. And I said, you know what? I want to synchronize my visit with this Toy Con you guys are talking about. And I went there and it just blew me away. And that's really where I got the understanding and the full understanding of the potential of what's going on here in the Philippines as far as like art, pop culture, just sort of the consumer base, really respecting and being interested in art. So, and I think that's something that's different than in the States. I feel like in the States, art and comics, they're cool, but they're not, they're like once every 4 months, I might buy something that has to do with like pop art.
Okay.
But here in the Philippines, it's like a way of life. It's like sports. It's like, oh man, I'll buy a basketball, I'll buy a hat, I'll buy a jersey. Like these are things that people do in the States like weekly. It's like I'll buy a commemorative cup at the gas station. It's got my favorite basketball team. Like it's normal. But like here in the Philippines, it's the opposite. It's like everyone's buying like art stuff, like pop art. Like, oh, I'll go to this con, I'll buy this, I'll get this Rick and Morty this, I'll buy this T-shirt, I'll get this hat. And it's all about the comic book culture. 'Cause I think that's so big here in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, like the name is very deceptive, Toy-Con, because the second you step foot,
Yeah.
you'll see a whole lot of people selling toys or displaying toys, but there's so much more to it. You got like comics, you have like you said, artists and all that, and it's getting bigger every year.
Yeah, so imagine me seeing ToyCon back in like 2010, 2009 and being like, yo, like I think you guys are hitting some sort of like evolution here. Like I need to get on the ground level.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure people that were doing ToyCon before it hit Mega Mall were like, man, you late to the party. But like you see ToyCons now, you know, they're at SMX, like they're huge. And I've dealt with them for so long that I can call the people up, like shout out at Vic over at ToyCon.
Woo!
You know, like, oh, this guy again, fat guys. Stop using my name in public. I don't know you. But, you know, I'll hit him up and just be like, hey, I got your personal number. He's like, fuck. So
no, yeah, that's.
I didn't curse. Can I curse on here? I can't.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, yeah, hey, go ahead.
It's the internet. We're fine.
Okay,
No, but
I'll only do it by accident. Okay, but now I know the rules.
feel free. Let it fly. You're a guest.
Just let go, man.
Just let go. No,
Yeah.
but that's the awesome thing about when communities start. You know.
But yeah. It's like, yeah, getting to know the people, like the people that run ToyCon. And then as ToyCon got bigger, then Asia Pop jumped onto the scene because they saw what ToyCon was doing. And like, yeah, it's just, I'm glad to have been in it long enough to appreciate the growth.
Yeah. How did you feel about Asia Pop this year, by the way? Because you and I went last year and this year. Juancho as well, and we both thought, like, let's be candid. We both thought it wasn't as good as last year, and it kind of fell flat for me and Juancho in terms of what was there, aside from you guys, and the panels. So I want to get your thoughts on it.
I got to be careful what I say.
Oh, really?
You know, I'm still in business with these folks.
Oh.
I can't be like, no. All right, this is the thing about Asia Pop. I would say I agree with you and I disagree with you. Because like there's two ways of looking at cons.
Okay.
You can look at cons as far as like the attendance and like the energy. And I think last year had, even though I hear people have told me that this year's attendance was higher than last year, I didn't quite feel it as a vendor. You know, I didn't feel like it was that packed shoulder to shoulder, like we're at ToyCon, guys.
Yeah.
Like, or Asia Pop. Like we're at Asia Pop. I didn't feel that like I even felt it this year at ToyCon. ToyCon still had that energy.
Yeah.
Okay. But I feel like as far as the booths, it had the most free stuff that I've ever seen on the floor of a con. Now I've been at cons where they give away all kinds of nuts and crazy stuff, but like you got to wait in line, you got to get these special tickets. But other than the those stickers you got to get for the Marvel like previews, everything at Asia Pop this year was just like, hey, want to go to Netflix? Step right in. And it wasn't until people on maybe the middle of the second day realized, oh snap, they're giving away everything for free.
Oh yeah.
And like they started like flooding the place. So they got like all the things that were really cool got like obscenely flooded. Because the first day, and it wasn't just because Asia Pop did something wrong. It's just like there was the hurricane that kind of like killed the energy. But I think by day 3, everybody was like, yo, we got to go to Asia Pop. So I think day 3 is what I wanted for all 3 days. But that didn't happen because of the I think it had nothing to do with Asia Pop. It had something to do with the storm. And I think Asia Pop went in a different directions. Instead of getting a lot of like middle like booths, kind of like what we are, I consider us like a middle company. Okay. We're not small like Artist Alley. Hold on. You still see me? All right, there we go.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. We're not small like Artist Alley because we're an official company. Like we're registered and we have more than one artist working under one like umbrella. So they wouldn't let us go into like Artist Alley. But we're not big like Netflix. So I think last year at that Asia Pop, they had more in between artists like us. So it was like stacked with in between artists. But I think this year they were like, oh, we can go big league. Like we can kind of start getting on that San Diego Comic-Con level. So then Tokidoki had a bigger booth they had last year. Shout out to Tokidoki. They're dope. And good to see them.
Legno.
Right. He's a cool guy, real cool guy. And the point is, it's just like they went bigger, and I think it just felt weird because here in the Philippines, it's more of a communal feeling. You know, it's like you get more medium-sized businesses where you know the owner, opposed to something that's a little bit more cold but still awesome, like freaking a Netflix con inside of a con. It was like one of those Russian dolls.
Yeah,
it's like so you got into the con, but there's another con inside the con. It's like, yeah, it was like Asia Pop had a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, that line, Juancho,
So,
you lined up for that Netflix booth, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
What day did you come? What day did you come? What day did you come?
I went on the second day and the third day, but I lined up on the third day. And
you screwed up. You gotta get your con etiquette together. No. Day one,
I know.
Nobody was there.
Rookie mistake.
Day one, it was empty. Day one, I was leaving the booth like nobody's coming. and literally all the vendors are going into Netflix. We were getting candles.
Wow.
We were getting T-shirts. We were getting all kinds of stuff.
Man,
I'm like,
all I got was a
so much free
wristband.
stuff. No, they gave. Okay, I got a T-shirt. Hold on, let me see. All right, here we go. I got the Kira Saves T-shirt right there. Boom.
Yeah,
I got that. I got shout out Netflix. I got some Barbara candles. I got R.I.P. Barb from the Stranger Things. I got what else did I get? I got 2 of those candles. I got the wristband. I got 2 of those wristbands. I did the VR experience for Death Note.
Oh, nice.
I got a milkshake. I got all these Defender stickers,
Pops.
like big stickers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were just giving away stuff. They were like, "Thank you so much for coming in here. We really appreciate you coming in here." And I was like, "For real?" They were like, "Yeah, just take it, man."
Note to self, always go on day one.
Day one, early day one. No one's gonna be there. It's on a Thursday. Everyone's still at work. Take off from work. Make up an excuse. Say you're not feeling well. Go to Asia Pop, and no one's gonna get photos of you because nobody's there. So there's not gonna be any photo evidence. Yeah.
Yeah, just just tell your boss, I'm getting a pocket full of pills, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's technically not a lie. Yeah. All right, whatever. Hope you feel better.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then,
all right.
and then if he sees you, you can be like, "Boss, but I wasn't lying."
I need these to feel better.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's worked. It'll work.
I just imagine Fred just walking around and like pulling out like a bunch of comics out of nowhere and being like, "Ah."
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like a Looney Tune gag.
I want to go to the chat real quick. Robbie, who was a little late to the party, said he wasn't able to check earlier, but he wanted to ask, and I think we haven't asked this yet. What conventions have you been to, and all in all, because we know you've been we know you're going to Baltimore. We know you've been to Asia Pop and Toy Con. What other cons have you been to?
We just wrapped up IndieCat. IndieCat was dope this year at Bay Nihon Center.
Oh wow, nice.
So we do IndieCat, yeah. So that was the first time and the only time you could get a Don't Trust the Kitten signed by the artist Lexi. So we unveiled a preview of Don't Trust the Kitten before the book came out. We've been doing IndieCat, Comic-Cat, and Comic-Con for the past 5 years or so.
Oh wow, okay.
So I love the indie scene, and I think that's what you mean by Asia Pop, and so that's why I'm saying you're right and you're wrong at the same time. Just like my story, it's like there's no right and wrong. It's that I think Asia Pop is going to define itself as a San Diego Comic Con, and I went to San Diego Comic Con this year. That was nuts, best con I've ever been to. But going to San Diego Comic Con, and I saw Tokidoki set up at San Diego Comic Con. I was like, man, that's way bigger than what they had at Asia Pop. And then this year, I saw Asia Pop did the same Tokidoki setup, and I was like, okay, I see what Asia Pop is doing. Asia Pop is saying, there's enough Comic-Cats, there's enough Comic-Cons, there's enough Indie-Cats. We need to bring, and the Philippines is ready to get a, and then Toy-Con is the top of that indie feel comic book con. And I think it should always stay that way. It's the T-Rex of that kind of con. I think Asia Pop is bringing in, it's Asia Pop is like a Spinosaurus for all my dinosaur lovers. Woo! It's an apex predator, but it's different, and it gives you that international feel as if you were at a San Diego Comic Con, where it's not really all about comics. It's about pop culture, and it's a lot more corporate and cold, but you still get awesome experiences.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that totally makes sense, and you could feel that Asia Pop is leaning towards that. You know, they're getting like local TV shows and and panels for them. It does feel like, you know, they're fulfilling the pop part, which SDCC is kind of losing the comic, and they're increasing the pop. You know. And
exactly.
You could really feel that.
That's what I foresee. I foresee Asia Pop continuing to grow out of comics. Hopefully they never get rid of me. So, but
it'll be a crime.
You got my own demise. Like, I only realized it when you said it. You're right. Like most of the big stuff were like big company stuff, but when you go to ToyCon, it's mostly like a bazaar. It had that kind of feel. Yeah, and it had like the community feel. Feel. Here, I felt like I was going to an amusement park.
Exactly. And that's what San Diego Comic-Con feels like. San Diego Comic-Con feels like an amusement park where like there's no like the barriers. San Diego Comic-Con is like, oh snap, technical difficulty. There you go. Oh.
It's like an earthquake.
All right, let me see. Okay, hold on. Let's see. There we go. All right.
Yeah. So real quick, Robbie in the chat says SDCC is the best. I think me, Fred, and Juancho can agree with that.
All right, there we go. All righty.
Can
you see me yet?
Lift it up a little bit.
Yeah, a little higher, and then to the right would be to your left.
Yes.
Higher
there we
to
go.
Your left.
Okay, I'm frozen. All right, guys.
That's better. Okay. That's much better.
Yeah, that's better.
You can see me? I'm completely frozen. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, you look perfect to us. You're moving. You're fluid. You're
dynamic.
Good, you're good.
There we go. All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So what was the caller saying? Or the chat member?
Oh, no, he was saying SDCC is the best, and I think, you know, all three of us could agree. As long as they stop suing smaller cons for using the word Comic-Con, I think we can agree that SDCC is the best. Yeah.
It's nuts. Like, I went this year for the first time, and it's nuts. I was like, what's going on here? The whole city is involved.
Oh,
like, you know, like ToyCon or Asia Pop, it's like, oh, okay, it's a cool con that's going on here.
Yeah.
But San Diego Comic-Con, it's happening to all of San Diego. It's like if you get arrested, the cop might be in cosplay. like no matter what you think or how you feel, you're part of this. There is no choice. You got to leave the city, or you're gonna be part of the Comic-Con.
That's awesome, dude. All right, So wrapping
jealous.
up on the con part of our little talk here, I want to ask, like, we've asked you like your favorite con memories. What's the most memorable Pockets Fulla Pillz con memory? You know, has a fan gone up to you and flashed you? Like what is the most memorable thing so far?
Not intentionally.
Some guy just gives you side boob through his wife beater.
Yeah. Like, later guys. Like, whoa.
So memories, Pockets Fulla Pillz related.
I think one of my favorite con memories, they all kind of blur together, but I would say it was Asia Pop last year, because that was the first major con that like we got in, because we applied to be in like the Artist Alley section, because like I said, we're veterans of ToyCon when it was in Mega Mall. We're veterans of IndieCat, Comic-Cat, Comic-Con. So I saw Asia Pop, and I was like, oh, all right, Artist Alley, get in where we fit in. And they were like, no, we kind of looked at your paperwork, you're a company. And I was kind of like, yeah, but it's just me and my buddies. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, you're on the main floor, buddy. You know, and I was like, all right. And it was one of those things where it was kind of like, I don't know how we're going to make this work. Like, do we belong on the main floor? And that was a real turning point. And I talked to some of the people at Asia Pop, and I was like, look, guys, like, I know you guys are kind of be creeped out by me saying this, but you guys really helped change the direction of the company, because you looked at us and were like, your structure is different than just a solo artist. So, like, you guys need to step it up, or, like, you can't be here. So it kicked us out of the mind state, because we're all like indie artists that are used to thinking of ourselves as freelancers.
Yeah.
So like, even though we work together, you know, Jerk is like, I'm Jerk. Me, I'm like, I'm that guy. And it's like, we were throwing around the term Pockets Full of Pills. But when we applied Asia Pop with a fresh set of eyes, they were like, no, you guys are all one thing. Therefore, you guys all need to be in one section.
Dude,
as a booth. So, yeah.
That's nuts.
So, yeah,
you know? Like, being forced to grow really, like, propelled you guys forward and made you think bigger.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those things, and I think every company, and shout out to everybody that's in Artist Alley, but like once you guys get to a point where you're starting to like clump together, it's almost like a planetoid. It's like you're like, I'm still an asteroid. It's like, no, son, you're a planet. It's like, I don't know, they still love me. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Bigger sometimes isn't bad, but no.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the response has been good. The response has been good.
That's awesome. And you know, it's sorry, Robbie in the chat kind of distracted me. He said he feels like I would be the first to do the flashing if anyone would ever be flashing you guys. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you did. Remember? that was you.
That was
like,
me.
Later, guys.
My wife
quit stalling.
So
I looked at Jerk. I was like, we're gonna see him again.
Whether we like it or not, Jerk, we're gonna see that guy again.
Mark my words.
All right, and you know, we're running low on time, but I do want to get to some more important questions, steering away from the con side.
Ooh, I have one question.
Go.
It's kind of late in the podcast, but I'm cheating here because I actually watched one of your other interviews.
Okay.
But like, where did the? But I just loved your explanation, so I want like our listeners to hear it too. So, where did the Pocket Full of Pills name come from?
It started as a last line of a poem I did when I was in college, and basically the last line was it basically a reference. It says, 50 years ago we had hearts full of hope, but now all we're left with is pockets full of pills. And that harkened back to my work, you know, in the prison system, and it was that I was pushing people to a rationale that was more materialized. Because like I said, when I'm talking to someone that's committed a crime, I have to adopt their mindset, and I can see where they were coming from. Limited access, or just they were socializing correctly, or really they just needed to get out of a situation. And I wasn't so concerned, even though my training was for me to adopt their mindset and then walk them out of that. But my guiding factor was money, you know. So it was materialism that led sanity. So there's a high premium on materialism opposed to who's really right. If I was doing some drug counseling, there's a high premium on getting people off of one drug and onto another drug, as far as like a pharmaceutical opposed to an illicit drug. And it's just, we used to have more clear-cut definitions of what was right or wrong. You know, our grandparents were more religious. And I'm not saying that right or wrong existed back then. I'm just saying the concept of it did. And I think we're moving to a place that's more true, but a lot more scary, where our guiding light of who's right and who's wrong really depends on who's paying more, who feels better, who looks better. And that kind of is sort of consolidated by the actual pill. It's the metaphor of the pill. It's an external, a fabricated form of power and rightness that we have to keep in high supply to just to feel like we're doing things right.
Damn. I don't know if I can follow that up, man. That is awesome.
You just keep blowing my mind. Like you just keep saying deep things, and I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but I'm just lost thinking about what you're saying. You know?
It's like I'm lost in your eyes, man. Get this man a blindfold.
It's like the words are just becoming images.
Oh, he's gonna get up and jump out the window. Like, no!
It's too real!
You're so good, man!
Oh my gosh. No, like, dang. Like, I feel it. My gosh. I'm at a loss for words, dude. I'm gonna try and steer myself back into the show.
It's like every time he talks, you actually need a pocket full of pills.
You do. And by Pockets Fulla Pillz, Philippine government, we mean these comics. Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
That's what we meant.
Yeah, with the current administration.
Not hard to find. I am not hard to find. I want to stay safe.
I mean, with the current administration, you gotta watch yourself. You gotta.
I gotta clarify. I stay clarified.
Oh, man.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me try and steer the ship back real quick so we can end on a less mind-blowing
controversial note.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's wrap up with two things. I want to talk about your creative process and then what's in store for PFP. So let's go with the creative process first. I know we're late in the game for this, but I still want to get your input on this. So I want to ask, like, how do you guys come up with the comics? Like, is it story first then art? Do you guys get a sketch from Drick and you're like,
always story first? Always story first. Yeah, always story first. And then the stories come from sort of a vacuum. I try my best. Like, I consume a lot of art, but I try my best. The only reason why I consume a lot of art, and that's like comics, that's cartoons, that's movies, just random creepy YouTube videos. It's all art. I consume a lot of it to make sure that what I come up with is completely dissimilar as much as humanly possible, to make sure that we're coming with something that's completely original and worth your money to buy. So yeah, I do all the dialogue, all the concepts. That's 100% me. And then the artists, they really do the visuals. So like it's that the visuals are 100% them, and I give them that leeway. So if I come up with an idea, I'm like, look, this is like sensory deprivation. I turned off all the lights in my bedroom and just sort of stared into the darkness, and this is what I came up with. If they draw it a certain way, and I'm kind of like, that's not really what I thought, I don't have the right to tell them it's wrong, because that's their input, and that's what makes Pockets Fulla Pillz different. You know, as long as it conveys the message, if they visualize it differently, that's what I hired them for. That's why they're there.
That's amazing. All right, and I want to ask you, because everyone gets those times where the juices just aren't flowing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people want to know, like, from someone who's built a career out of making stories, like, how do you get through those tough times? Because those times can be very rough on a creative person.
Yeah. Music, and like I said, you just gotta watch other people that are doing it. So like I watch a lot of, like, I remember I had a rough patch and someone was like, yo, watch Rick and Morty. Not to get me to be like, do what they're doing, but just watch someone else being creative.
Yeah.
You know, and that helps. That helps. If you try to stop being creative and then use whatever brain cells that are working to seek out creative art, then you'll see, you're like, you know what, that was so left field. Maybe my direction's wrong. Maybe I'm trying to figure it out in a too normalized way. Maybe my due north should be due off the paper. Like I need to point to a different dimension. Like, you know, I gotta change my because good art is art that's just, it's completely left field. Like I always say that good art is art that you should not like at first.
Okay. Wow.
Because
I like your friend, by the way. That's good advice. Watch Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
No,
that's totally true.
Yeah. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch that. Like, you know, I don't want to see that. Look, it's poorly drawn. And they were like, no, man, watch it. And like, you know, like I said, good art is art you don't like. Like Basquiat, you see his stuff, it's like, that's just scribbles. Not going to pay $1 million for that. But the more you look at it, you're like, oh, I get it. And like, if your art is completely different, then the human mind hasn't seen it before, which means your initial reaction is, I don't like it, because it takes too much thought to process. So I tell people, whenever they create something that's truly unique, expect for it to be disdained for a good period of time before enough people like buy into it and actually adopt it into their new normal. And then it becomes a whole new dimension of normal. And that's good art.
Wow.
That's actually really good advice for
amazing advice.
Newcomers.
Because a lot of people try to copy. They're like, oh, I got to draw more like Marvel. And I'm like, you got to draw more like yourself. Mm-hmm. And if it sucks, keep perfecting your suckiness. And then it'll be completely new. Like, it'll be like, you own that style. Like, I hate it, but like, you own it. And eventually I'm just going to be forced to like it.
Dude, that's awesome. Real quick in the chat, Isamu Shinozaki, hey, Isamu-san, he's saying, before you said Rick and Morty, he was actually thinking it already. And dude, that's some crazy chat mind meld you got going on. Shout out to Mick Manzon who joined the chat. And you mentioned Rick and Morty and their style, and not only is the art, like you mentioned, bizarre and not something you see with cartoons nowadays. It's not what people would call a standard. The writing is very different as well. You know, you get.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like it.
Hold on, guys. I'm listening. I'm just gonna plug this bad boy up.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Gonna die.
Juancho, you and I have talked about the many layers to Rick and Morty, and you know, on the surface it seems hilarious and funny, and as it should be, and that's what they're kind of targeting and hoping for. But when you look into it, you know, they've established and they've managed to build in a lot of new ones, and with each episode, not just an overarching theme, but with each episode you get more and more nuance with the characters, with the overall story. It's crazy how they've defied expectations from that pilot. Like if you watch the first episode, the pilot is just, you know, it's poorly drawn, and I actually advise people to just power through the pilot so that you can get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the very first Rick and Morty though? The thing in YouTube?
Doc and Marty?
Doc and Marty. They've come a long way from that.
Yes, they have. Oh man, Fred, you doing all right over there, man? Oh no.
All right, I'm good.
Okay, there.
Man, it's just a freaking earthquake happening. All right, there you go.
No worries, man.
See, I'm just showing off the merch.
Oh.
There you go. All right.
Nice.
All right, we're back at it.
All right. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
You know, we've already talked about, you know, what your past, your present. I want to know what's in store as we wrap as a wrap up question. What's in store for Pockets Fulla Pillz in the future, the near future, and you know, your vision for what's to come.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Honestly, I never thought we'd make it this far. but no, like now that we all got our visas, like we're looking to China, so we're looking to do cons in China because that market is exploding. We're going to continue to do stuff here in the Philippines. No matter how big we get, we're not going to miss a Toy Con or an Asia Pop. It's just not happening. And we're going to definitely still hit the indies up. So we're going to be doing more international cons. That's a definite. Baltimore Comic-Con is we already talked to them about coming back next year, and we haven't even been there this year. So hopefully we don't show up drunk and naked and they reconsider.
Or
it's always a possibility.
Or you do, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Throw you close to the wind. So yeah, no, we're gonna be doing more cons, releasing more books, but one of the things that we're pushing for is more distribution. So right now, one of our pride and joys is that we're completely indie. So everything that's printed, everything that you see, like it's just us. It's just us. And like I said, we're completely self-funded. So every purchase you make actually leads to us making another comic book. So we're having a lot of meetings, like at New York Comic Con. Us being up there is all about talking to some people that like what we're doing and like the fact that we're doing it on a shoestring budget and being like, all right, what happens if we give you a little bit of money? So I don't know how that's going to manifest, but we're going to be doing something big. And if nothing else, we'll be all around the world by next year.
That's awesome, dude. That is...
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see all of this unfold.
Yeah, and it's important to me to let people know that this is like Phil-Am, and like I've started outsourcing like a lot of Westerners do to the Philippines, but end up finding that being on this side is where the real like honor and art is. So I'd like to be able to bring people around and be like, yo, yeah, I'm the writer, but everything you see that's bringing you here to even hear me talk came from the Philippines.
That's just fantastic. And you know, it should be an inspiration to the people who not just are artists here, but you know, the people who are, you know, looking to make stuff and can't seem to find where or what their voice is, you know? Like
Carlos Sabino. I forgot. Carlos Sabino. He handles the test subject. So this jerk and Carlos Sabino. He'd skin me alive if I sat here with his freaking shirt on and didn't mention him. Yeah. Carlos Savino.
Shout out to
That's the
Carlos,
man.
All right.
Yeah, Carlo. Sorry.
Sadly, our time on the show is coming to a close, but
All great things do.
I know, right? But the thing is, there's so many things we still want to ask you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask you if we can get you back on the show sometime soon, maybe after your World Dominance tour. Maybe we can have you back.
So after New York Comic Con,
Yeah,
I'd
so
love
you
to
can
be
tell
back.
us all about it.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what? How about I come back with a recap of Baltimore Comic Con and New York Comic Con?
Yes.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be.
Yeah.
That'd make us jealous, but that would be amazing.
No, you guys are coming with me. Like, it's gonna be a whole thing. Yeah.
We'll do a diary video
Yeah.
together.
I'll try to take as much footage as possible and send it to you, and then we can just talk about it. But like, I mean, and the only reason why that's important is because I want other people that are starting off here in Manila to realize that the talent here in the Philippines is way more than you need to take over the whole world.
That is badass. That's a badass thing to say, dude. Because not a lot of people here get it, because it's not like something we're told growing up, it's something that someone has to show you, sadly. And I mean, I'm generalizing. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are very self-aware of their prowess and know that they can make it internationally, but and I don't mean to disparage them. I'm saying, like, a lot of people need that little kick in the ass and to show them, like, dude, you can make it. Because confidence is something that can be given with just like a little word from someone you respect.
That's really saying something, because like the whole Filipino mindset is you always compare yourself to international standards. Mm-hmm. But just hearing you say that, like there is a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a freakish amount of talent here. It's like it's like saying it's like saying an all-girls school has a lot of pretty girls. It's like a lot. Like, that's not regular? No, it's not.
You shove millions of people into tiny islands. You're bound to find some talented people, right?
Yeah, this is straight Johto League right here. Yeah.
Oh my god, that is a reference.
Oh my god, this guy.
That guy
right here. Like, we're definitely gonna have Fred back on more.
I'd love it.
We can't wait to talk to you when you get back. Maybe we can get Jerk over on that lower right screen when you guys get back.
Let's get Jerk in there. Yeah, I'm gonna drag him here. He doesn't like to do press, so I have to have him hog-tied.
Perfect. Yeah. He could just hold up signs and be like, "Fred's right" while you're talking. Like he could. Yeah. He could do like a live drawing.
He could just be drawing.
Yeah, he could just live draw. No, he's awesome. We're gonna get him on here.
Jerk is the best.
Right.
And
we're shaming him onto camera. Yeah.
You know what, guys? This has been one of the best shows I've ever done, and I'm so sad it has to end. I wish it doesn't end. I wish it wouldn't end, but sadly it has to. And the way it does is the way it always does. Juancho, I'm gonna ask you, man. Where can the people at home find you when you're not on the Quit Stalling podcast?
Oh, you can check out my Twitter, which is @SaldanaJuancho. It's up there in the upper right. No, right?
Yep.
There we go.
Over there. And yeah, guys, follow Juancho, tweet him, tell him how much you love his presence on the Geekcast. Fred, man, where can the folks over on the Facebooks and the Twitches and the YouTubes find you when you're not on?
Yeah.
When you're not on with us.
Check us out at Pockets with an S, Fulla with an A, Pills with a Z. That's Pockets Fulla Pillz on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, Pinterest. We're everywhere. We're not on Twitch though. We need to get on Twitch. I don't know why, but we're just gonna be on there.
You just need a presence everywhere. People will appreciate that. Oh no, we lost Fred.
Oh, just as we talk about his presence, he leaves.
I know. I have a feeling his battery went low. I have a feeling his battery went low because that's usually what happens. And from how he was fumbling, I'm pretty sure he wasn't connected to a charger. Fred, if Agnes is chatting with you right now, or if you were somewhere on the internet, feel free to come back on. But if you can, it's totally cool. We're wrapping up anyway, guys.
Thanks for being.
Yeah, guys, if you want to find out more from Fred and the guys over at Pockets Fulla Pillz, head on over to pocketsfullapills.com. All their social media links are there. I will link it in the chat right now. as I am signing off. PocketsFullaPillz.com. I'm hoping I'm typing this right, because that'd be embarrassing if I wasn't.
Our timing, though, is crazy. That, you know, it is the end of the show.
I know, it was perfect. Thank God that he didn't run out of battery like at the start.
I know, while he was blowing our minds, you know, and then he just cuts off and like, no, what was the point?
Agnes says in the chat that his phone died. No worries, Agnes. We assumed as much. For those of you listening and watching on the live stream, let us know in the chat. Let Fred know in the chat how much you loved seeing him on the show. We're definitely gonna have him back. Tell your friends all about this episode. We're gonna upload it. Probably within the next day.
We had a
so.
bunch of exclusives. We better upload it.
I know. I'm gonna clip those out, and I'm not gonna be able to sleep for the next 3 days because I got so many things to do. But it was all worth it. It's all worth it, man. So, guys, we're gonna have a little bit of an after show like we normally do in just a little bit. But you know, to let you guys know that this doesn't immediately end after the intro or the outro plays. But I do want to let you guys know, if you want to find out more about me outside of the quit stalling. Oh wait, why did the music go away? If you want to find out more about me,
for a second there, I thought you were gonna forget to plug you.
Oh man, I might have actually. If you
I was gonna remind you. Don't worry. Don't
You're
worry.
the man.
I didn't forget you.
Oh, you're so sweet. If you want to find out more about me outside of the Quit Stalling Geekcast, head on over to @Herald Plays on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch. I got a couple of videos brewing that'll be uploaded to those, so I'm excited. This will be my first time actually making edited videos on Herald Plays, and of course they'll be shared on the Quit Stalling page. If you want to find out more about Quit Stalling, head on over to www.quitstalling.us. All our social media links are there: Facebook and Twitter @QuitStallingUs, or Facebook.com/QuitStallingUs. We're on Instagram @QuitStalling, SoundCloud.com/QuitStalling, Twitch.tv/QuitStalling, YouTube, bit.ly/QuitStalling with a capital Q and a capital S. And of course, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes if you're listening to us through there, or even if you're not, you know, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, anywhere you're listening to the podcast. Leave us a review, or anywhere you could actually leave a review. Just do it for us, because every little bit helps.
You're enjoying the podcast.
Exactly, because the more people see that you're actually listening, the better for us. So please do let them know. And I think that's it, man. For Juancho, for Fred, I have been Herald, and this has been episode 42 of the Quit Stalling Geekcast, Quit Stalling Podcast. We'll see you guys next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Tune in to Game by tomorrow. I'm also there, by the way, 9:30 p.m. It looks like it might just be me and Vince doing our thing. We're duoing the Game by show tomorrow.
Man, I would love to join you guys, but it's a little bit too late for me.
It's a little too late, and we understand, man. No worries. We got you. We'll see you guys
in the future,
tomorrow.
though, I'd love to be in that show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We will definitely have you on. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week on the Quit Stalling Geekcast. Same bad time, same bad channel. Bye, everybody. Bye. Oh my God. Which one is it? There we go. Alright, welcome everyone to the after show. I might have given away a little tidbit there that's the last we'll talk about it, Juancho. That's the last we'll talk about it. Clicking buttons is not as easy as it looks.
I didn't notice a thing, man.
Thank you. Once again, shout out to Fred, Jerk, Agnes, all the guys over at Pockets Fulla Pillz for making this episode happen.
Yep.
That was such a good show, man. I love talking to Fred.
Yeah, dude, he saved us, man. Like I was saying before, we had nothing to talk about this week. There's no Rick or Morty and Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I mean, no, we had a lot of geek stuff to talk about.
No, we would have had something,
that we could put off to next. Whoops. The intro is still playing in the background. that we could put off to next week. Like nothing urgent.
Oh yeah. I kind of want to talk about Death Note. I'm so jealous he got a shirt, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, oh my gosh, like the first day. So, lessons we've learned. Go on the first and last day of Asia Pop.
Yes.
So no more second day. No more second day for us. That is. I mean, we had fun, and Diego's actually.
We had fun.
Diego's actually posting the videos later on. I think
really?
in less than an hour, he's gonna post the diary video, and the world is gonna see how much you kicked Diego's butt in bee fighting.
Oh right, almost forgot about that.
Thank God.
All right, Evan.
Oh my gosh, we got him back! It's a miracle.
Yeah. I know the show's about to be over, but I had to come back in for the after party.
Dude,
Let me see.
Oh my God.
Can you see my face?
Not yet. We can't see it yet.
No, not yet.
The anticipation is
hold
killing us.
All right, let me figure out what I need to do here. Okay, headset on. All right, video. There we go. All right.
All right. So we got a couple of
Real quick,
things.
yeah. All right. I know you guys are about to close out.
No, for you, we will stay like 3 hours longer. You know, just
Make sure you have a
episode
charger.
2. Yeah. I'm all charged up. Like that's a rookie mistake. All right, sorry about that, guys.
no
Yes.
worries, man. So like, we had a couple of things that we wanted to run by you. You know, again, we wanted to thank you so much for joining us. This is
Yeah,
such a pleasure.
Of course.
Such a good show.
Yeah.
And we can't wait for the next one.
Me neither. You guys were asking. I heard asked about how do we make money to make creative content. It's like the answer is we don't. I rob people.
Oh!
No, we do the cons. Like the cons are a huge source of money. Before we started Pockets Fulla Pillz, like we put a little money, aside just to be able to afford through the lean times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we sometimes we pull in money from other businesses that we're doing or that I'm doing, and then pay it back from the cons. So it's
nice.
like a self loan program.
Mm-hmm.
But the more cons, the better.
Okay. Juancho,
Yeah.
we gotta start burning DVDs of our episodes and
Just give away in cons.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Do
dude.
live shootings and cons.
Oh, we could
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's shoot.
have like people from the con just stop by and be interviewed. That could work. Oh man,
You
Yeah,
get
just
the
gave
con
us
to pay
ideas.
you.
You just gave us
Alright.
ideas, man. You just gave us ideas. Oh, dude. All right. Yeah, we're not gonna keep you for too much longer because it's getting to. Actually, we haven't eaten dinner yet. Have you eaten dinner?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's
Okay,
all a blur.
So let's.
You have a flight tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you have a flight tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a day after tomorrow.
Oh, day
Oh,
after
day after
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Alright.
What time's your flight on? That'd be Thursday, right?
I don't know. I've got awesome people that handle the schedule. I'm not sure. They just pack me into a box like Dumbo, and I just wind up there. Yeah.
They just crack open the crate when you're at the con, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. It was like, all right. And you add a little water because I'm dehydrated. Like I get rehydrated like those little sponges.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, so we're gonna let you go. Again, we want to thank
All right,
you
guys.
so much.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll
Oh,
be
you
in touch.
you
Okay.
have to come back though. There's a
have.
lot we
No,
didn't
I'm-
talk about.
I'm serious. That
We didn't
wasn't
even
a
get to the
gesture.
Dino Riders part.
Oh,
Oh
my God.
man,
You get to talk about
Yeah.
the Dino Riders.
Yeah, let's close that off. The Dino Rider is too much. It's too much. Next time we'll talk about some deep dives as far as my influences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good, man.
Yeah.
We're looking
Awesome.
forward to seeing you in
Okay.
a month or so.
All right, guys. Yeah, and be sure to check us out at Pockets Fulla Pillz. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Pinterest. We're everywhere. And every PFP purchase you make helps us keep going. We're not like one of these big corporate companies where it goes to a bunch of extra random people. Like it's all something that we made mostly by hand. So we appreciate the support.
Yeah, all the money that comes into Quit Stalling just goes to some offshore bank account. So
Yeah, I know. You guys, corporate overlords over here.
Yes, some corporate overlords. All right, Fred.
All right,
once again,
guys.
thank you. We will see you soon.
See you soon, guys. All right.
Peace out,
Yeah.
man.
See you, man.
Later.
All right, and that's the end of the after show, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.